Now, the invasion of Ukraine by the Russians has sparked several anti-war protests even inside of Russia. Thousands of people across cities have in fact been defying police threats and have been staging protests against their own government for having ordered an invasion into Ukraine. Now remember, Russia as a nation has had a very low level of tolerance for demonstrations and marches against the government. The protesters are now, therefore, facing very serious consequences, including fines, arrests and even imprisonment. Now, the European Union fears that Putin may impose martial law to curb anti-war protests in the country. The EU believes that the law will be imposed after Russia's parliament convenes an extraordinary session of the Federation Council. This comes after major anti-war rallies in St. Petersburg and Moscow. Now, according to the reports, Russian authorities have already detained over 7,000 people since the 24th of February. Russia has also partially restricted Facebook and other social media platforms as well. Now, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has declared martial law after the Russian invasion in the country last week. Now, Zelensky's declaration barred Ukrainian men in the age group of 18 till 60. That is, all able-bodied men who are in a position to fight must stay back to defend their country. If martial law is imposed in Russia, it will give Kremlin absolute power to clamp down on the anti-war protesters. It could, of course, further lead to border closures. Military censorship and other measures to control and mobilize the country of almost about 140 million citizens could be brought in. The Russian parliament has also adopted a draft law which includes criminal liability, where protesters will be punishable with a fine of almost about $4,700. The Russian legislature has also mulled on a new law that would hand a 15-year prison sentence for people who spread false news about the war in Ukraine. In order for the amendment to come into force, it still needs the approval of the State Council and the assent of President Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, martial law can also disrupt the life of people who are facing some very grim economic prospects which have already hit local businesses and have prompted several people to flee from the country. The cost of plane tickets has also increased as several European countries and the United States have closed their airspace, and Russia has done the same in a tit-for-tat response. However, Kremlin has dismissed the speculation that Russian authorities plan to introduce martial law and have blamed the Western and the Ukrainian officials for the misinformation. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.